Oh, hi guys. Today we're going to talk about artillery and what it's used for, how is it made, and everything in between. Based on Wikipedia, artillery is a class of heavy military ranged weapons built to launch munitions far beyond the range of power of infantry firearms. That basically means, if any of you have played Call of Duty before, and you see a tank, that is basically part of heavy artillery. It's used to launch ammo far beyond the range of our normal sidearms and firearms. This could be a great advantage for example, sieges and raids, where you have to take out big piles of defense. You can use a cannon, which is classified as an artillery, to shoot down their walls and then go in. Then you can continue to use the cannons. Originally, the word artillery referred to any group of soldiers primarily armed with some form of manufactured weapon or armor. This basically means artillery is used. Soldiers are called artillery because they are carrying weapons and armor that is made. Wikipedia also says that artillery most commonly shoots out shells, as in bombs. The howitzer and cannons are what we call artillery. Howitzer is a type of cannon that is mounted on the ground and it cannot move anywhere. Tactics. During military operations, field artillery has the role of providing support to other arms in combat or attacking targets. This means that artillery it can be used for both offense and defense. Offense, you can go and do a raid with heavy artillery to like what I said, take down big chunks of defense, and also for defending. So then if non-allied forces are coming to your area, you can just shoot them down as a form of defense. Etymology. The word as used in the current context originated in the Middle Ages. I don't really know what Middle Ages are, so let's search it up. Middle Ages. The Middle Ages was the period in European history from the collapse of Roman civilization in the 5th century CE. The 5th century basically means the year 500. Today we're in 2021. That would mean we are in the 21st century. That would make the 5th century the year 600. Expansion of artillery use. In 1415, the Portuguese invaded the Mediterranean port town of Ceuta. While it is difficult to confirm the use of firearms in the siege of the city, it is known the Portuguese defended it thereafter with firearms. That basically means the Portuguese tried to take Mediterranean port town of Ceuta. Ceuta is the town that is in Mediterranean. In the 14th century, basically 1500, cannons came into general use and were most effective in siege warfare. The term had previously been applied to catapults used for hurling heavy objects. If you didn't know, if you didn't know, cannons are basically guns, big guns that shoot big rocks at people. And catapults are if you ever seen a slingshot before, that is basically a catapult, but bigger. 16th century, 1700. The howitzer, halfway between a gun and a mortar, muzzle-loading cannon, was first used in sieges. A howitzer is basically a cannon that can't move like normal cannon. That is basically a tank, but it doesn't have any rails to move. So it's gonna be mounted on the ground, and it's gonna be very accurate because it really doesn't move. Because it doesn't move, therefore it is stuck to the ground. And then when you shoot it, it won't blast off because it's on the ground. Early 19th century, basically the year 1900. In the Napoleonic period, field artillery became smaller and more mobile. If you ever seen a mortar in Call of Duty, that is basically a portable cannon. Portable means you can bring it with you. It is carried in a bag, and you can just bring it somewhere, for example, a mountain, and then you can just place it down, fill it up, and then shoot big rock. You can also shoot rockets at designated area. Designated means specific. 1914 to 1918. In World War I, one of the biggest wars we've ever faced, howitzers were used to demolish trench systems. Giant cannons were used in the entrenched conditions of the Western Front. Western is basically the left side of the world. Front and at sea against the lumbering, heavily armored battleships, but their accuracy against small or moving targets was poor. The last sentence means that cannons were used to take out big enemy boats, but aren't really as accurate for example, a normal human, a small human, that won't really be as accurate, because for example, if you have a rock and then you throw it, it's gonna be pulled by gravity. Gravity is what pulls us to the earth, the one that we're standing on. As I was saying, when you throw a rock, it will take time to go down. You don't really see this in normal guns, because the amount of force that comes from the gunpowder is so strong that you don't even see it. But it is great. But cannons are great. 1939 to 1941, basically three years in the process. In World War II, airplanes and air-mounted artillery were important to both the European and Pacific fronts. 1970s, introduction of electronically operated target devices and remote control firing. This basically means that if you have, for example, a cannon, like what I said, a cannon, you need to be there to operate it. But in the 1970s, they learned how to shoot the cannon with a push of a button. 1980s, howitzers became self-mobile and computer-controlled. Shells may be made to home in automatically on an unseen target, such as a tank. This basically means that a howitzer, the tank that doesn't move, doesn't need to be controlled by normal people. Soldiers don't need to walk up to the howitzer and shoot it by themselves. They can put a control system, and then they can control it from their homes, basically. And it's also meant to target in on things that aren't seen. For example, tank. Okay, guys. All of this information was from the Webster's New World Encyclopedia, and the previous information that I gave was from Wikipedia. Thank you so much for tuning in today, and I will see you next time. And don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment and like the video, and make sure to watch all of my other videos for other topics just like this. Bye.